You will get the chance to listen to the interpretation. Thank you first and foremost. Today, on this podium, I'd like to say the main logic behind 24-minute speeches in this event is to speak about relevant, important projects about the Muslim world, Islamic world, and present the case. We do that in these 24-minute speeches. And we did similar 24-minute speeches in the yesterday and the day before. So today, in this 24-minute speech, I will be focusing on the Gaza Tribunal in this 24-minute spotlight speech. Gaza Tribunal. And I have been involved as an executive person who is involved. And we're going to have a special panel about Gaza as well, and they will be feeding each other actually. So Gaza Tribunal is, what kind of a project is this? Gaza Tribunal is basically a humanitarian tribunal, a project. And these previous examples were there since 1960s in other subjects other than Gaza as well. Basically about important crises in the world where international legal mechanisms are either slow or ineffective. People come together from various regions around the world, intellectuals, experts, scholars, politicians, academicians come together in this tribunal, and basically they conduct their own legal tribunal, basically. In 1965, for example, there was Russell Tribunal about the U.S. invasion of Vietnam. Bernard Russell, Sartre, the leading philosophers of the times had started it, and many intellectuals had taken part in that tribunal. It was a very popular one. The 60s generation also made it popular. At the time, of course, they didn't have social media. Many people didn't know what happened in Vietnam. So this tribunal, organized by Russell and others, actually became popular. They presented a lot of proof, a lot of things about the case, and it actually became very popular. So of course today Gaza is visible to everyone. Everyone knows about it and sees it. And Gaza Tribunal is a similar approach. There was also another one recently about Iraq War Tribunal, which was started after the U.S. invasion of Iraq in more than 8 or 10 countries. This took place. And the last one of those actually had taken place in Istanbul back in 2015. Mr. Blair and Mr. Bush was actually deemed guilty at the end of those tribunals. Mr. Arun Tedro was one of the leading figures in that tribunal. And there was also Uyghur Tribunal, which took place recently about the China-Uyghur issue. So these are basically humanitarian tribunal organized by people in situations where international law is slow or ineffective. And Russell Tribunal Palestine is actually an organization that they have been active previously, but in Gaza Tribunal they haven't been as active. So some people got together in Istanbul and other places, and they talked about if we can start a tribunal on Gaza, and then things grew and it became something big. In November, with about 100 people, the Gaza Tribunal was started, and Gaza Tribunal will continue. The chairman of the project is someone you may know. also a previous Richard Falk, a previous also rapporteur of the Palestinian case in UN. They have a steering committee consisting of 11 different people in this Gaza tribunal. It consists of people like UN representatives, intellectuals who are closely dealing with this subject. So their main goal in this tribunal is to support current existing ongoing legal mechanisms and also act as a humanitarian initiative. And we have actually reached about 300 people so far, saying that we have a project, explaining it and asking if they want to be a part of it. And almost everyone reacted positively. They said this is an important project that needs to be done. A lot of them said that this is something that needed to be started even before, because many people actually know about this tribunal. Many people ask why this tribunal wasn't there previously. And a lot of people actually say they want to contribute to efforts. So that's been the background information about People's Tribunal. Again, why does this happen? This is when international legal systems are ineffective or inefficient. So when we were building Gaza Tribunal, we looked at ICC and ICG, not to go against those processes, but to support those processes at ICG and ICJ. And just recently there was a very important decision made in terms of the detainment of Netanyahu. A warrant of arrest was published. Again, the need for Gaza Tribunal is there because it's also independent. Some of the international courts, there are some questions on their independency. And it's also helped with swiftness, so faster effort, because some things need to be done with fast. So tribunal helps with that. And the Gaza Tribunal could also be serving as a tribunal where the judges that need to be judged will be judged. And it's also important to be a voice for those Palestinian people and Gazans. And because this is not an international official tribunal, it can look at it from a more comprehensive approach. And it's also because it is a humanitarian effort, it can also touch upon many different aspects of it, like philosophical or ethical side of it. And Gaza Tribunal is set up as such to deal with all those issues. So it's not just about what happens in Palestine, about war crimes or how many people are dead. On top of these things, this tribunal also looks at philosophical and also ethical root causes of this issue. And that exists as a separate committee in Gaza Tribunal, History, Ethics Committee. There are many important historians, experts, philosophers are involved in this committee, and they only focus on that aspect. They currently focus on the history of the Palestinian issue. They also focus on colonialism and post-colonialism, basically looking at history and what happened. And another thing is that there's this issue of genocide, of course. In 21st century, in the eyes of everyone, a genocide takes place. So what are the factors that cause that? What are the factors that make that kind of thing possible? We actually claim that humanity is reaching to an sort of an end. And also seeing this kind of genocide, basically everyone can witness it. Women, children being killed, but we can't do much about it. So a lot of the intellectuals and philosophers who is going to be taking part in this tribunal, they're going to focus on how this kind of thing can take place in the 21st century. You see, these are the goals of the tribunal. There are also some concrete approaches, like documenting evidence, collecting evidence, etc. And another important thing that separates this tribunal from the other ones is, inshallah, this is something that's going to start in January, and all of the hearings, all of the procedures are going to be open and public, and there will actually be a TV channel, satellite TV channel, Gaza Tribunal channel, and this channel will publish live in a lot of different languages. So you will basically be able to turn on your TV and see the experts speaking, or maybe witnesses or other involved people speaking. If done well, this can be something really important. Just a month ago, UK Parliament actually listened a Gazan father as a witness, and this actually got huge in the mainstream media outlets. This was reported. This is just one example. So in this tribunal, in the first stage, starting in January and going until the March, the hearings will be published and they will be public, and about 300 people will be heard, and it will be all broadcasted. So at the end of the day, these are humanitarian courts, and of course they don't have jurisdiction legally, and they can't take binding action, but it's all about raising awareness. And in the Gaza situation, we actually realized a lot of people want to speak up. They don't accept what happens. And many people who were not sensitive about this subject before, even those people, they look for something, and they need bigger platforms to speak up or take part. Sometimes you see small efforts like on TV or on YouTube, etc., but it's always small. But with Gaza Tribunal, we aim to create this kind of concrete platform. The heads of states could come in, intellectuals, people can come in, witnesses can come in, those people, victims can come in as well. And again, it's going to go, this tribunal is going to go up on open call. Anyone who likes to speak as a victim, witness, expert, whoever, they will get the chance to go live. So this is international. I was in Doha just 2 weeks ago, just last week even. Then this is a project going on in many different places. In the US, for example, people will talk about this project in conventions. So this is completely international. Out of these 100 people that I mentioned, only 2-3 Turkish people are in there. So it's completely international. Everything. So it's not a Turkish initiative. There will be a domestic platform as well to raise awareness. But this way, of course, people went through, and their victimhood will be documented. You see, there in detail, some parts are not visible, but there are 3 main chambers. One of them is international law, the other is international politics, and the other one is history, ethics, and philosophy. All of these chambers have 10 or 15 different people, like judges. And all those judges will collect all the data, documents, etc. And everything will be prepared for them in terms of documents and evidence. About 20 to 30 different rapporteurs are going to be working on to prepare all that evidence. There's also a legal department as well, a legal committee as well, and they are already working on this internationally. So it will be based on concrete evidence, so it's not just going to be speech. There's also a communications department, as you can see. They will be responsible from live streams, satellite TV, etc. We also have administrative bodies, main bodies of the Gaza Tribunal, and supportive committees. Civil society is going to be very important. We try to take the support of civil society. We are in touch with many NGOs. We want to do that globally and involve everyone. So this is the main organizational structure. About 100 to 150 people are going to be involved. Of course, most of them are volunteers. Of course, I don't want to name names, but maybe you know them, maybe you don't, but they are all very renowned people in their field. For example, our media advisor is a British person who has decades, a lady, decades of experience, lady with a decades of experience, worldwide renowned in her field. We also have a lot of others who are similar. Yeah, I mentioned the president, the executive secretary, and it's all coordinated. So this is the process. I mentioned some aspects of it. I said there will be public hearings, live streams. And another thing is that the first public meeting will take place in Sarajevo in May 2025. All the members of the court, all the members of the tribunal are going to be there for a week or so. It's going to be the first public meetup. And after that, we will have hearings, live streams again, witnesses, victims, everyone will be there, including the defendants, the suspects if they come, and we will continue with the proceedings. So this is the stage table in detail. We have stage 1, stage 2, and so on. On November, for example, the team got together in London. Maybe some of you have followed up on the news in London. It was actually mentioned on the press. It's just the beginning, so all the detailed processes are about to start. All of these stages, inshallah, will take place under this calendar. This is a really important project where everyone tries to contribute somehow. So let me give you an example. I was just in a meeting with the higher management executives of Al Jazeera. They said we are ready to provide everything, and I asked why do you do that? Why are you so helpful? And they said it's not just a professional thing. So Al Jazeera wants to help Gaza. Anything about Gaza case, they said they are there, and they actually have a lot of people and groups who work on Gaza since the beginning. So we have a lot of supporters. I also explained it here. So now this is a people's tribunal and everyone can take part. And now you're also responsible because you witnessed it today. So if you have any opinions and contributions, everyone can contribute. And we are open. It's a big project. So I now let you know. You now know about it. Hopefully this will give us the best results, and hopefully it will have an impact. This is not, we don't say this is the only way to go, this is the only solution. ICC can do a lot, nation states can do a lot, individuals, NGOs, aid organizations, everyone can do a lot, but this is also something that can help. Last but not least, in terms of the aim of this project, in and of itself, this is an aim, this is a goal. But in October, we plan the court tribunal to come up with a reference document. This document is going to be prepared by hundreds of academicians, experts, citizens, everyone will contribute, and it's going to be a reference document. So think of it like a human rights charter or the Helsinki document of the medical doctors. And it will be a document similar to those, like Gaza Tribunal document, where everyone can take reference from in the future when these kinds of events happen. You see our website, always updated. We also have social media accounts. Please follow them. They're all updated regularly. Thank you very much.